Hey, what's up? I'm Hypestore. I play games, make games everywhere. This week I'm in a beach town in Mexico called Puerto Escondido, making games, playing games on the beach in my hotel room. Everywhere I can get 3G and Wi-Fi access. This is a surfing town. I might try to go surfing, but the last time I went surfing, I almost drowned off the coast of Brazil. So we'll see how I feel. As I've been traveling, I got a notification from Apple about renewing my developer license. While it's 99 bucks, it's not that big of a deal. I've been using hypehype. I've decided that I'm just gonna cancel it, not renew my Apple developer license. Hypehype makes it easy to make and play games, which is all I've ever wanted to do. I've been making and playing games over the last 5 or 6 years, developing for the Appstore, Play Store. I've learned a lot. While none of my games have been like a standout huge success, every single one of them was a great learning experience in the process of making a game, submitting a game, doing all the ad mediation, finding special code so that when you open the app, it doesn't play music or cancel the music that you're already listening to, because stuff like that bugs me, so I had to learn how to do it. All these things were great learning experiences. One of my games even got featured by Apple, the new games that we played a couple years ago. When I started making games for the App Store and the Play Store, I didn't know anything. Everybody starts somewhere. It was a challenge. The first game I ever published to the App Store maybe took me around 3 months. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to spend all my time making games, design levels, and this is why I picked the hyper casual genre. I find it to be the most simple and complicated at the same time, which is a dichotomy that I enjoy and find fascinating. Creating a simple game, how that game evolves, you can add little tweaks and things into the game to make it more complicated. And the better you are as a game designer, the more the player doesn't even notice the complexity. For me, this is amazing, and I want to spend every day trying to do this and get better at it. I never went to school for this. I just started spending every day making games, trying to make them better. My goal is a very simple goal: to make a game and then make the next game a little bit better and continue down this progression until my knowledge base grows, I grow. I found this to be true when making a game. You learn so much when it comes to level design, UI design, things that you struggle in with one game when you're building. When it comes to your next game, you have some foundational knowledge on things to do to help make your next game better. And I love this process. That's how I see making games. I see it as a process. I think a lot of times when games are going to the App Store, it's for the end goal of to try to meet the certain criteria, CPA, and there's a whole industry around hyper-casual games. I have a video on that. I still think it's true today. This is basically all about the money and data, which is important, but to me, making games that you enjoy is more important. When making games for the App Store and Play Store, there's a lot to be said when you complete a game. I've received messages from people who tell me that they think coding is the most important part of making a game. Now, I am not a coder. I have tried to teach myself coding, but I'm just not into it. I would rather look at color palettes and design than understand code. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's important to find the things that you enjoy and follow down that path. And unfortunately for me, coding was never that path. You don't need to know how to code to make apps and games for the Play Store and App Store, but it does make things a lot easier. There's many different ways to create games for the App Store and Play Store, and there's only more coming out in the future. That being said, I'm good for now. I just want to make games with hypehype. They make it so easy. You don't even have to go through the publishing process. Now, the publishing process is one aspect I think most people don't even think about when they finish making a game. Usually when you're trying to make a game, the biggest goal, finish line, is to make that game. That being said, when you get to that finish line, there is a huge another goal in publishing. You need to do ad mediation, you need to do SDK, screenshots, all these components submit it to Apple or Google. This has a lot to do with who is reviewing your game within Apple. If they are familiar with the App Store, they may just easily accept your game. If they are not familiar with the App Store, they may reject your game and you will have to resubmit it, or you'll have to create a new bundle ID, a new provisioning, and then resubmit it. So there's a lot of paperwork that happens after you finish the game. As somebody who enjoys making games, I do not enjoy doing paperwork, and it's a lot of paperwork. This paperwork takes time. It can take months to get everything set up properly just so you can release the game. After making games with hypehype for the last 6 months, everything is consolidated within the app, and this is one thing that I truly enjoy because it lets me focus on the thing that I want to do most, which is make games, play games, make games off of the games that I played. It's a whole new ecosystem that encourages just creating. The most paperwork you have to do is put the name of the game, take a screenshot, and put a description of the game, and then create a leaderboard. You want to create a leaderboard in the App Store or the Play Store, you have to go through a lot of technical stuff. It is true that the more times you do it, the better you get, but it's still not as easy as a click of a button. And again, my goal is to focus on making games and trying to get better at making games, not paperwork. And when it comes to the App Store or Play Store, at least 50% of that is paperwork. And it's important. Like, you need to do this stuff. If you take bad screenshots, nobody's gonna download your game, because if you didn't take time trying to take cool screenshots, why should they take time downloading your game? I talked to a lot of developers. Most continue to publish on App Store, Play Store, because this is the ecosystem that has been created by Apple decades ago. I see other developer friends struggle with it because somebody at Apple has denied their game for who knows why. Nobody knows why. It's exciting to get other people to play your game, download your game, and even make money off of making games, which is great. My goal was just to make and play games all the time. I know indie developers who can make games and they can make good income. I think that's amazing. The way I see it, there is growth and opportunity for everything. There's growth and opportunities for people wanting to make games on the Play Store, App Store, and in hypehype. It's not a single silo. There's only one way to do this. We live in 2022. Crazy things are always happening. New technologies are always coming out. I think it's all possible. I was talking to a developer and he told me he enjoys making games for the Play Store, App Store. He likes to know that he owns the game. Like, this is my game. I own all the rights to it. And I told him, yeah, that's great. That makes sense to me. At the same time, it got me thinking how the music industry used to have cassette tapes, CDs, how the movie industry used to have DVDs, VHS, beta. I used to watch Kung Fu movies in beta in the 80s. Technology is always ever evolving. So when I look at hypehype and I make the game, I don't own the game. And hypehype even makes it easy for anybody to take what I've created and recreate it in their own way. To me, it's a fantastic way to help the innovation of the creative process around making mobile games. Going from the past of where you have sole ownership of the app into the future where you share it, sharing is caring, to help the innovation of fun and play while teaching others to create their own game. I love this concept, and this is one of the reasons why I'm just like all in with hypehype. I think they offer solutions for tomorrow's world. My focus has always been, how can I make games faster, better, more, and share it with the world. And hypehype helps me do that in a way that I never imagined, aka on my phone, iPad, at the beach, on the bus, on the airplane, anywhere. And what can I say? It's fun to live in a world you never imagined 6 months ago. Creating games, making mistakes, trying to get better. This is the process. The process is not an end goal. It is a journey where you try to you get better a little bit every day and give yourself breaks when you fail, because that happens all the time. It's the ability to continue trying that will help you get to that finish line. And since you're making the game, sometimes you can just take that finish line and move a little bit closer. You're the creator. You get to decide the challenges that are constructed when you make the game. Another reason why I like the simple hyper-casual games, because this idea that you get to create the challenges and obstacles that are in your way, and if you cannot overcome the obstacle because you haven't learned enough, you just change the entire game that you're making all on your phone or tablet. Hypehype has kind of like a visual node component system, which is very similar to visual scripting. So it's not actual coding, but it uses a lot of the coding logic and mechanism. If you know how to code, you'll understand how to use the list node, how to use certain arrays and for loops in hypehype. Another aspect when you're making games for the Play Store or App Store is music. You have to take care of music, the UI. These are all important factors. And you can't have music that is copyrighted. Well, you can, but then if you get found out, your app gets taken down. There's all these loopholes, legalese, things that you need to figure out when you're making a game. With hypehype, you have all the music, you have all the sound effects. These have already gone through their system to make sure that there's no copyright issues, no problems. You can just search through their database, find the sound effects that you're looking for, and put them into your game with clicking some buttons with your fingers. And if you have some copyright-free music that you would like to submit to hypehype, you can talk to them on the Discord channel, and they'll just verify that there's no legal issues and get that process going. Next, when you're making a game for the App Store or Play Store, you have to get assets. Unity has a huge asset store. I love Unity. I have their stock. The asset store on Unity costs money. Yes, there's free assets, but there's a difference between free and paid. You want 2D assets, you want 3D assets, templates, visual effects. All of this comes with a price tag, and this eventually adds up. Hypehype has thousands of assets that you can just use and drag into your game. And there's new assets being submitted every day. Not only that, you can create your own assets, go through their submission process, and then other people can use them. I have a video on that, so check it out. The biggest question that I get about hypehype is monetization strategy. When you have an app on the Play Store, App Store, you can use AdMob to show ads, and then you get paid out on those ads. And anybody who has used any kind of ad mediation knows that the best way to get paid is to get visibility, get millions of views, and those millions turn into thousands of dollars. That being said, if it's like thousands of views, you get maybe dollars. Hypehype is new. It is so new. It's only in early access. The user base is small. Making money off of views and impressions doesn't exist yet. When hypehype does get released to the public and millions of people begin joining, then monetization will happen. Monetization is something that hypehype is looking into and understands that people need and want, but that will come later. Right now, they are just trying to perfect the app and make it better and easier for anybody to make and play games. They're still beta testing, using TestFlight in Apple, trying to make all their algorithms better, make the functionality of creating games easier. I've been using it for the last 6 months, and the whole UI overlay has changed a few times for the better, making it easier to make games. Anybody looking for different options to make games other than the Play Store and App Store using no code on your phone, this is my preferred method, and I'll continue to make games. At the end of the day, I can create games which is both fun and difficult. This is the way for me. Goodbye, Apple developer account. I've learned a lot in these past 5 to 6 years. I made a bunch of great games while traveling to all different places in the world. I will not miss this submission process. If you want to get more information on hypehype, check out my playlist in the description. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Until next time, I'm Hypesy. Stay safe out there and peace.